yeah, this nostalgia for the golden age of the internet, and that's the Usenet era and the early web era was where it was at. I think that was a very different internet, and I think the internet we have now with the Facebooks and so on, and normal people using it, that's quite a different beast, and it will carry on changing. It will carry on being different. Fundamentally, it's still the same, but things will change. And the challenge, I guess, is to try and retain some of that open source type freedom in whatever's built next. But on the plus side, if the big media companies do build the next internet, it'll be rubbish. So something will root around it. It'll be as rubbish as cable TV is. It's not a problem.
Where's Pete heading?
I have no idea.
Oh.
And I quite like that. I'm dabbling in art at the moment. I wrote my first arts funding application a few weeks back, which didn't get through, but that's fine. It's my first one. So I might do some more sort of arty stuff. The photography school is working quite well, so that's something doing with a friend where we haven't done any advertising or marketing for it. It's just gone through word of mouth, and we're making not a huge amount of money, but we're doing well with that. So it'd be nice to develop that into something and see if we can make that into, particularly for him, I think, because he's the sort of trading photographer, and he's got the long-term interest in this, turning it into something that's a bit more sustainable to make the majority of his income from. Writing, I always want to do more writing. I never have enough time to do writing, or when I do have time, I'm never in the right mood to do writing. So getting into a more of a rhythm for that would be good. And yeah, just seeing what comes along. I tend to be guided by what interests me and what people will pay me to do. So, and ideally those two things coincide. But generally speaking, I know that I'm incredibly lucky, and this shouldn't really be happening. Although it feels like this shouldn't really be happening, and then sometimes it feels like, well, surely everybody should live like this. So, I don't know. I keep waiting for it to end, and I have to go out and get a proper job again. But I haven't had a full-time salaried job since 2003, and I haven't worked for an employment agency since 2007. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll carry on like this.
Well, you seem to be managed. It always amazes me, like all the kind of stuff you pop up with. I mean, it just seems to. I mean, I see it on Twitter or whatever, and on your blog. So I've got the blog on the RSS. So it's a toilet reading thing, and it's always amazing. It's just like, how the hell? I mean, one of the things that you did and didn't work out, but I was like fascinated by was it the social media therapy group?
Yeah, I mean, that was one of those things where I was asked to do something for the social media thing, to help people with their social media stuff. I think partly because the organisation asked me for it, felt they needed to do that. And I've been paid to do that sort of stuff, so it was like, okay, I could do that. And I thought, well, maybe I'll do something a bit more interesting and try this idea of a group therapy thing, because especially with a lot of businesses, especially now, I don't know what they should be doing necessarily, because I don't run their businesses, and I don't play about in their areas of, I don't know who they're talking to online or how they do that. The great thing about this is there is no right way. There is no correct way to do it. And so I thought, well, they can help each other. If they're all self-employed businesses who majority of which share a co-working type space, then the best thing I can do is to help them to help each other, and to sort of be a sort of guide in that exchange. But nobody was really interested in it, so it's off. It was probably half a day's investment in bashing out the details of it. But by the time I bashed it out, and it's like, well, I got a few responses, and they were people like, oh, how can I get more followers on Twitter? And well, you can help me with my Twitter. And it's like, I don't want to help people with their Twitter. So, you know, it's just like not fun. And yeah, I do understand that what people ask for isn't necessarily what they need, and they're trying to frame it in something they understand. And quite a lot of the work I do is taking an email that someone sent saying, can you help me with my social media marketing, and going, actually, what you don't really mean that. What you mean is you want to try and tell your story more effectively and stuff. So yes, you have to be gentle with that, but at the same time, it was something that I thought, I was quite relieved when it didn't take off, because then I would have had to have done it. But then again, if it had taken off, it might have gone in. It probably would have gone in interesting directions, because once you've got 10 people in the room, it gets interesting. It stops being this sort of didactic thing. But yeah, it wasn't a problem. I put 3 or 4 ideas out that month, and a couple of them stuck, and made some money.
But I mean, basically, you're putting these ideas out, but you're doing that because you've got that network, and because that network's come from that, all the previous work, and from the fact that you were blogging way before other people or whatever. Is that it?
Well, yeah, I built up a network, and but I haven't just broadcast it out there. There's people in. I mean, this is slightly in retrospect. I'm not very good at working my network, and so, but by accident, I have developed solid relationships with a number of people who can help me to develop these ideas more effectively and to turn them into revenue generating things. But that's from a lot of it came from doing the Creative in Birmingham blog and the things that followed on from that. And it's that making people aware of you, but also what you can do and so on. So it's a personal marketing thing, personal branding thing, but yeah, and I wouldn't want to. I'm not a big fan of that stuff, but I'm very aware that that's important, and the fact that I do that. It's about taking control and taking responsibility for your activities and your presence, and not complaining that you can't get by because the system isn't letting you do that. It's like, well, fuck the system. I'll make my own way. So, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, this is the beauty of it, is I don't have a clue how I got to where I am. I don't have a clue where I'm going next. I know that thankfully I've been born in a situation in a country where I can do these things, and it kind of, after 35 years of flailing around aimlessly like somebody who doesn't really know where they fit and what they're doing, I've finally landed on my feet. But it took 35 years to do it.